I don't think I do it.
Arsenal started like a house on fire. Signing number 2 for this new era. It's Judgment Day, people. Yeah! What did your boy tell you? It was never in doubt. Never in doubt. Don't believe in any luck. I believe I'm self-made, yeah. Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. It's been a minute. I hope you are all doing well. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course, hit that notification bell. Listen, thanks for all the support over the last few days. I'm sorry I wasn't live on Saturday or Sunday. I said I was going to be live for the Champions League final. Nah. A lot of you will have seen on my social media that my feet are absolutely in bits. I've got like little ballerina shoes on, little Nikes. So yeah, I've missed you all though, and it's good to be back. Listen, we've got loads to cover. Obviously, the takeover happened as I said it would before the walk. I said the deal was done. That got Stevie Wondered, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. And that was announced, I think, on Thursday, something like that. All the days are a mess. We'll chat about that. We'll chat about some of the transfer links. We'll chat about Rodrigo, Meslier, Tyler Adams. Let's chat about Somerville. This could be a long one. We've also got manager chat. There's just a lot of talk about Carlos Carvajal, who was previously at Chef Wednesday. I think it's just agent talk. I'm quietly confident that there may be a possibility that we could get Brendan Rodgers from what I've been hearing and who I've spoken to, but I don't know. We'll wait and see. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit that notification bell, do all that. Let me just shout out Joe Madigan as well while I'm here. Big up to you for becoming a new member. I want to shout out Stacey, the mum overlord, her son, and of course Danny Rumsey, who met me from the walk, JUSTJOE FC. Big up to them as well. Thank you for that. And big shout out to all the walkers as well. What a great experience it was. David's in the chat now. Missed your face. I've missed yours, mate. You have a bit of a come down after the walk, obviously, getting up, having camaraderie with like-minded people and going on these walks. Yeah, it's grueling. And this year it was even tougher for me mentally and more so physically. But we did it and it was amazing. And I think we're up towards £57,000 now, which is, is amazing. So if you haven't already, please do donate. It's for a great cause. You look weathered, bro. I am weathered. I'm still tired. I took the day off work yesterday. I was just done and I had to go to accident and emergency yesterday. But I'll be back. I'm back now, yeah. Back now. And then, like I say, I'm back at work tomorrow as well, but I'll be here. So yeah, thanks for all your support. And listen, if there's anything I've missed, get the comments in. Hey, there's Joe Blackburn. Big up to Joe. He says, honestly, mate, I'm on the come down. I'm so happy to see a familiar face again. Thank you very much, Joe. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, look, hiking around the UK. Says, wife and I did 16 miles in the heat over the weekend. Brutal, massive respect. It was really tough. Like, this was the thing. I think the toughest thing for me was the heat as well. Like, the moisture build up, which then obviously causes blisters or chafing or however. Like, the heat was just next level. I think on the last day from Halifax to Leeds, it was like 27 degrees. It was hotter than like places in Spain and stuff. So listen, Bailiff Bridge, anyone in Yorkshire, Bailiff Bridge, we had to walk up that hill. Oh my God. Especially when you consider we did 27 miles on day one, then 21 on day 2, 24 on day 3, and then the last one was 90 miles. But Bailiff Bridge, Danny, by the way, Danny basically dragged me up that, being ex-army. I could barely walk, and he basically dragged me up that hill. I had to hold on to his back. And yeah, that guy's next level. So thank you, everyone. Sean, Dan, everyone, man. Names go missing, but everyone's just fucking amazing that does that. And big shout out Square Ball, Michael and Dan for putting it together, because it's not an easy thing to do. Jonesy says, well done, Joe. Massive effort for such a good cause. I've donated, but wanted to show my appreciation and respect for you. Thank you very much, Jonesy. That means an awful lot. That hill can do one, yeah. But Bailey Bridge, wow. Like, oh, we've earned 60k, mate. There you go. And Paul says it's knackering driving up that hill. Exactly, Paul. That's the thing. It's knackering driving up it. It is so steep. So just think that we were walking up that hill in heat of over 25 degrees, whilst also have already done about 80 miles. Insanity. Jaggy Babs, you donate by going to the GoFundMe page, my man. Yeah, GoFundMe page. And if you put in Gary Speedwalk, that'll be up there as well. I'll put it in the chat as well. Just bear me 1 second while I do that. I'll just click onto it now and get it put in the chat. Same again next year. Yeah, it will be, man. As is always the case, we'll be there. I don't know what the route is going to be this time, because I think to get from... Oh, my phone's on charge. I can't get the codes. Just bear with us 1 sec. It might take me a while to waddle back. I'm a little bit more mobile than I was. Can't lie to you. So that's something. Let me just get the code so I can get into this. You have to put a code in to get into Just Eat. Sorry, GoFundMe. There we go. Numbers being verified. I just had my phone was on charge. Yeah, so we've raised 57,889, and myself personally have raised 708. Which is amazing. So thank you. I'm going to put it in the chat. So, Chris, it'll be open all year round, brother. So do it. I think we raised 80k last time. So, John says you went through Bailey Bridge. You literally, I did not run. I did walk. I did walk. But yeah, yeah, amazing for everyone that has donated. It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, thanks everyone for contributing. So great stuff, great times, great pictures as well. Like, it was just an amazing time. I got to meet I got to meet Neville Longbottom as well. Matthew Lewis, what a guy he is, by the way. For anyone who hasn't seen, anyway, this is the clip of my feet right now. This is what they look like. I had to go get them bandaged up yesterday, and I'm on antibiotics for my feet. This was me at the finish line. I had changed into Crocs, because when I got to the Dragon Pub, which is the last stop, I had to take my shoes off, and my blisters were bleeding and everything, so I couldn't get my shoes back on, so I just stuck my Crocs on for the last bit. A big shout out Mick T, who gave me my staff as well. That got me through, brother. So thank you for that. That was great as well. We had some. Oh, here's the JUSTJOE FC gang. Look, there we go. There's Stacey, her son, and of course Danny Rumsey, who were there with us. That's us at the Gary Speed mural. You can see from my face, I'm absolutely battered at this point. I think if we just scroll in, you can just see how done in I was in that blistering heat. Me and Sean are both gingers, so it's tough out here. It's tough. Oh, lovely message from Matt. That's Andy, John, Bielsa John, some of you might know, and Danny. That was at the Tempest Club. That was on the morning leaving Halifax. So many faces there. Amazing. That was when we just come in, end of day 3. That was in Yorkshire. Some lovely photos in Yorkshire, to be fair. But, I mean, the hills, this is Ryan as well. He'd busted his knee. There's me and Matt Lewis. There's Dave that you can see in the chat. It was an amazing time. I think that was the start of day 3. That was me dancing on the hills. I wasn't dancing towards the end. There's Bielsa John and Carl. Some of you might know from Twitter, Carl Ace. That was when we'd got into Burnley. That's a video. This was, oh man, Liam? No, it's not Liam. I forgot his name. That's so bad, isn't it? But we walked over the hills with him and his brother. There we are again. Yeah, amazing. Honestly, such an amazing time. That was leaving Bolton. Walking into Bolton was rough. That was when we got to Bolton. And that was right at the start.
I looked happy at that point. Leaving Goodison Park. It didn't end that way, though, trust me. But yeah, great experience. Thanks, everyone, for donating, and continue to do that. Gordon says it's asking for an email and password on your GoFundMe link. Can you send a link where I can donate? Yeah, you'll need to put in an email and password, I think, mate. Or have I sent you the wrong link? Let me have a look. Right, okay. I might have sent you my login. I'll tell you what I'll do, Gordon. I'll put that in again. Try this one, mate. Try that one and see if you can do that. Thanks, Vic. Thanks for all the support. But yeah, great to see. Yes, they did, bro. They did. We had a good chat as well. We had a very good chat. I will say that much. I had many, many chats. Some unfortunately can't be shared. Some will be shared. But yeah, I'll just reconfirm what I've always said. League One, behind the scenes Premier League club, in front of the scenes. But that was then. This is now. Okay, that was then. This is now. Because Leeds United have been taken over, haven't they? We got an official announcement from the 49ers Enterprise. This came on, was it Thursday? I can't remember. Was it Thursday or Wednesday? No beers for me, no Mark. Listen, what I will say, Mark, for some people, they were out in Halifax on the night. Some of them didn't get in till 4 a.m. Some of them didn't get till 4 a.m. One lad didn't wake up, didn't get up till 10 a.m, so it was mad. So this was the update we got. So Leeds United can confirm an agreement has been reached between Acer Ventures and 49ers Enterprise for the purchase of the club. Both parties continue to work through the details, and further updates will be provided soon. All of our focus remains on a quick return to the Premier League. Thank you for your continued support, marching on together. So there you go. That is the official announcement from the football club. Now, Phil Hay did a piece in The Athletic, as you would imagine. So let's have a look at that. Hey, Liberty, wow, I haven't seen you for time. Where have you been? They're getting off to a bad start if they appoint Farker. I disagree. Daniel Farker would be a great appointment, but I think they want Rodgers. Do I think Kinnear will stay? Yes, Kinnear is going to stay for the foreseeable, I think. Thank you very much. And listen, 500 in the house, only 142 likes. Please do smash a like on the video. Yeah, please do that for me. So let's have a look what Phil Hayes had to see overall in the Athletic piece. Obviously, just goes on to say it's been 5 years in the making. So who or what are the 49ers Enterprises? Well, we know that the 49ers Enterprises is not 49ers itself. It's more a conglomerate of big investors, people like Pete Lowy, Parag Marath. You also have Larry Nance Jr., the basketballer. I believe there's a high-ranking Washington, D.C. official. There's been another, I think there's been another basketballer announced to be part of it. But yeah, so the 49 Enterprises is a conglomerate of people. Big up to John K. Miss you too, man. So yeah, look, this takeover has been in the pipeline for quite some time. It's been involved in the club since 2018. Increased its stake to more than 30% at the end of 2020. And we know that it was going to increase and hopefully take over. I believe the date was initially set for the summer of 2024, but it was always going to be brought forward. As we know, 49ers Enterprises, despite the title, is not the same as the San Francisco 49ers, as I was just saying. It is controlled by the owners of the 49ers and its president, Parag Marath. He's involved both with the 49ers and the 49ers Enterprises. So it's private equity opportunities away from NFL, and that's what's happening. Obviously, we get all these other people that put money into a pot, basically to then own or have a say not so much have a say, but obviously look to try and recoup some money back. That's what it's about. Football's about money. We know all this, right? So in the past, for example, it is invested in renewable energy technology. But Leeds obviously is their most high profile purchase up to this point. So what they do is they pull together different pools of investors, okay, meaning the makeup of the group funding the purchase of Leeds is unique and specific for this deal. So I think there's like 60 odd people involved, right? I swear I read that. Now, of course, don't be worried and don't be thinking that 60 odd people are going to be sat around the board table. That's not how it's going to work. They're going to appoint certain people. We know that Angus Kinnear is going to be involved in some capacity. I believe Parag Marath will be on the board as well, as will Pete Lowy, but we'll get to that a little bit later on. Basically, it's a net of high net worth individuals, venture capitalists, and private equity firms merged together as a consortium to finance the buyout of Leeds. At least one of the major parties has a background in US professional sport. And look, whatever the relationship has been with Leeds United and USA men's national team accounts, one thing we have to say is basically that they know what they're doing from a sport perspective in terms of pushing the brand. Like you only have to look at how much money there is in the in basketball, in American football. I don't watch this, religiously. Okay, so it's TJ McConnell is one of the other. I believe he's a basketballer as well as Larry Nance Jr. Let's get back to some super chats. Dave says, well done, brother. You deserve this, you legend. Gary Speed, my favourite player. Eva Gordon says, wouldn't let me pay from Spain. So here's your donation. You ran further than McKenny. Oh, my God. Wow. 100 euros, Gordon. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that, pal. You are an absolute saint, and I'll make sure that gets sent across. Okay. So thank you very much for that, mate. That means a lot. So yeah, Gordon, you're a regular contributor, so I'm really grateful for that. Thank you so much. So while there is clear link to let's get back to the article now. So while there is a clear link to the 49ers NFL team, the NFL team is not itself taking over. Here we go then. So because of Leeds United relegation last month, dropping from the Premier League to the Championship, the investment group courted by 49ers Enterprises has changed in the period leading up to Radrazani's sale. Did not know this, but it says, for instance, one prominent venture capitalist company based on America's West Coast stepped away from the bed. It was prepared to buy into the Premier League team, but not one in the EFL. Nonetheless, 49ers Enterprises still had the cash it needed to finalize the deal. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? Maybe that was one of the reasons as well. It took us as long as it did. It may well be that, a lot of them, and I think a lot of us were worried for a period of time that the 49ers wouldn't have wanted to know had we dropped down into the EFL. Well, a portion of that group, one major venture capitalist said, we don't want to know anymore. Not Premier League. It's not for us. They obviously don't see a return on their investment. I think if the 49 Enterprises get it right, they could see a quick return because they've bought the club now at a really cut down price. And if they come back at the first time of asking, they're already quids in. And it feels shit to talk about your football club in that way, but that's where football is. We know that. We all accept that. I think people who don't accept that, I think it is what it is. It's the only way it's going. You've only to look at teams in Saudi at the minute buying players like Kante for like 200 million a year or whatever he's getting, Benzema, Ronaldo, all this. It's all about money. China did the same. They all trying to do it. But you'll never pull the core fans away from the sport, I don't think. I've seen a lot of hate for Man City. I don't hate because, listen, we'd all love to be them. People hate them because they're not them. We would all listen, I get the morality side of it, but for me, Man City is some of them fans were in League One, man. They've just won the treble. Let them have it. Let them have it. They'd have never got there. They'd have never got there. Man, and you hear Man United fans and Liverpool fans as though they haven't basically financially doped for the last years. Man United have spent more than Man City. Man United have spent more than Man City. Craziness. But, they didn't do it right. Oh, my God, Abdullah Al-Khalifi, what a guy, man. Abdul Rahman Al-Khalifi watches regularly. Alhamdulillah, hallelujah, man. Big up to you. Thank you so much for the contribution to the channel. You're a top man. Thank you so much. Yeah, look, exactly, Vic. As have Chelsea, but no one talks about that anymore. It's mad. It really is a madness, mate. So we moved, don't we? Big up to you, Abdul Rahman. He says, "Hi, Joe. We are Leeds matching on together." Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. I mean, I've had contributions to the channel there that have made up for the couple of days off. So thank you so much. I might take some more time off. Hardest working man in the YouTube game. No sleep. No sleep. It's not even time off, was it? It was a grueling experience. But we got through it. Right. Okay, let's get back to the article. This is going to be a long one. The feet are ruined, Ian. They're hurting right now, because I've had them raised. I think it's all shooting down to the thing, but it is what it is. We'll go. At the core of its group, then, are a collection of around 11 key investors. These will be the top money men, yeah? The big players in this takeover and the source of high percentage of the cash needed to buy. We know about the Lowy Group, the Australian family, property empire, represented by Leeds director Pete Lowy. He was already on the board of directors. He's there. He's been part of the project for 2 years now. There are the most relevant people in the project, the biggest sources of finance, and those with the strongest influence. And I think the important thing from this part as well, yeah, the important thing from this part is he's a Leeds fan. He's a Leeds fan. So that's an important thing to remember about this as well. So he will have the best interest of the football clubs at heart for sure. Behind them is a larger collection of minor investors seen as bringing added value to the buyout. Many of those injections are far smaller, around the 6-figure mark. I mean, that's not small, is it? Some are athletes, and most are well-known in either business or celebrity circles. The New Orleans Pelicans basketball player in Larry Nance Jr. gave him firm hints about his involvement on Twitter this week, but their influence on strategic matters at Ellen Road will be minimal, if indeed they have any. Exactly, right? They're not going to be going to these people that have invested 250,000, I don't know, 900,000, whatever it may be, 6-figure sums. 6-figure sums, that were people in Bolton and Burnley, my apologies. 6-figure sums and saying, "Oh, Larry, who do you think we should have as manager?" That's not going to happen, is it? You know, we know that. So we move. So yeah, we know about Larry Nance. He basically set a cat amongst the pigeons, but he knew the takeover was done. I knew the takeover was done. I told you. It's quite funny, actually. The video that I did before I left on the Tuesday night, whenever it was, it feels like an age away. That video got a few comments going, "Oh, Joe's got egg on his face. No deal done." Best believe I came back to them when the deal was done on the Wednesday or the Thursday. Right, let's go. Let's go back. There we go. So there is an important aspect of the takeover, as much as there are numerous individuals behind 49ers Enterprises acquisition. Leeds will not be run by the whole collective as a committee. Parag Maraf, existing vice president, becomes the club chairman. So he's going to take over Rad Razani's position and will have active responsibility for the overall management of United. We know about Parag Maraf and Mike, not Leeds Bolton-based fans. Not Leeds Bolton-based fans. It's just a laugh. I joke. I didn't mind Bolton. Colin Mead. I mean, they had the best travel lodge because the rest never had food places, but the one in Bolton did. Colin Meader, a colleague of Maras and another senior figure at 49ers Enterprises, could join the Ellen Road board too. In total, there could be as many as 5 new directors appointed representing the investment group. Marath and Meador will spend time in England, but are expected to be predominantly US-based. I do know that people at the football club, having spoken to people on the walk, are currently working on American time. So whenever we've tried to get, I just know anyway from talking that people at the football club are currently working on American time. So that might be something they'll have to do moving forward until people are put into the correct positions, because obviously it's hard to have meetings, etc., if they're asleep and you're awake, etc. So I know quite prominent people at the football club currently are working on American times, as you would expect, because they'll be having conversations about managers, about players, etc. Because Parag Marath now, along with Meador, they're going to be key at the football club. They're going to be the ones that are going to sign off on these major decisions. So 49ers Enterprises will return existing Leeds CEO Angus Kinnear to oversee day-to-day operations, ultimately answering to Marath. So we know that Kinnear has been the one that's been contacting potential directors of footballs, managers. I believe the managers at this moment in time, because I know Jamie says 3 manager race for these interviews today. I think we're looking at Daniel Farker. I think we're looking at Rodgers, although Rodgers seems maybe tough to do. But I think Farker or Rodgers would be amazing. I don't buy into this Carlos Carvajal thing. I think it's just agent talk, having left Celta Vigo, putting his name out there. I don't think Leeds United move for them. It's crazy. I don't see the Gerrard one. I think Gerrard might be set for Leicester, but he's been linked to Saudi Arabia. Who else have we? Parker could potentially be third choice, having got 2 teams out of the league. But again, I wouldn't be on board with that. Carlos Corbrand's probably the third, if Jamie's right, which, I think I do rate his knowledge. You could be looking at Rodgers, Daniel Farker. And Daniel Farker and Rodgers could both be in line for the Celtic job, if I'm being honest. And also, I think Carlos Corbrand's quite an easy get just because of the financial issues there. Rob Chew says, longest walk to the pub in Bolton, though. Well, mate, I stayed in the Travelodge. There was no drinking for me. I still can't believe people go out drinking after walking all them many miles and then get up on the morning and move. It's a bit of a mad one. Kinnear was heavily involved in bringing the complicated buyout of Radrizzani to a successful conclusion. I said to you before, he's like stuck between a rock and, I almost felt sorry for him. And that's mad coming from me, having slated him for so much. Again, I've met him. He seems a nice guy, but I mean, I think he's maybe been a victim of being involved with Orta and Rads. But he's his own man. But the program notes, it's just silly, but yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, we move. Farker has 2 relegations at Norwich, not the right man. Yeah, maybe you are right, but I just think Norwich were always struggling when they came up. I think if Leeds United come up, they have a proper go at it, unlike Norwich have done. But we'll see. So there you go. So Kinnear is seen as an asset by the Americans. They obviously rate what he knows, having been involved in English football at West Ham, at Arsenal, overseen stadium moves at both them football clubs. And it could well be that we know that the 49ers, if we get Premier League again, will look to do something with the state. I don't think they'll move it, but they'll look to increase it. And obviously, we know that Kinnear has vast experience, really, when you consider he was involved in Arsenal's move to the Emirates and also West Ham's move to the London Stadium. Both huge clubs. So there you go. Irrespective of the decline in the club's performance over the past 2 seasons, as I say, Angus Kinnear is still well thought of by the 49ers. One thing 49ers Enterprise is clear about is the need for a larger senior management team at Elland Road. This is music to my ears. This is music to my ears. Heads will roll. People will be sacked. And so they should be sacked, because their behavior is unacceptable. Their professionalism is unacceptable. Radrizzani was nowhere near the football club. He was letting clowns run it. People that are close to the players, not so close to other players, and just causing an absolute rift between old guard and new guard. And these people know who they are, the fat controller and all that jazz. I can't wait for this guy to get the high jump. I can't stand the man. And if I was to see him again in person, I would tell him that fact as well. He's a little divvy. And I can't wait to see the back of him. And, you know, like I said, this is a Premier League club, or was a Premier League club, that was run, but not even League One. We're not even talking League One here. We're talking lower than that, you know, lower than that. People's in positions that shouldn't be, and being involved with the football club that shouldn't be. This isn't a lads' party, you know. This isn't a boys. You know, this is a professional football club. This is Leeds United. None of them really had the vested interest at the football club. None of them support the football club. You know, when I've seen posts about, oh, what a team this is, and like sucking the farts out of their asses and that, and then you consider that content creators or people who speak about their football club get stick, yet these get flowers like they've done everything, when in actual fact, the little divvies. And that's the facts of the situation. And I can't wait for these to be gone. And I can't wait for a proper management team to come in and take this club forward. You know, have some proper media representation and not take the piss. You know, have some proper people that have teams of people that deal with this and deal with that. You know, not just one sole proprietor who deals with this whole department and no one else can speak to them unless you go through me. All this bullshit. Like Luke W says, make no mistake, the 49ers will bring in professionals. Like I said to you before, there was people who did work for this football club, as we know, that weren't being paid. This was a Premier League football club. And fans, of course, if you ask me, I was never asked, but if you ask me to do something for the football club, best believe I'm going to bend over backwards. I'm going to bend over backwards and run across hot coals to do something for this football club, because I love it with every ounce of my being. It can make me happy. It can make me, it can make me sad. But if the football club said to me, can you be involved and help us do X, Y, Z? Best believe I will do it. And they knew that. And they prayed on that. You know, they prayed on that. You had people writing poems, writing whatever you like, and they were not paid by the football club. Mental. And then people like Sticks, like Joe Mitchell said, who worked for this football club for years, were just kicked to the curb. Like they were nothing. And I've also had a change of heart about some of the old guard as well. You know, they can all go. The place is rotten. The place is stinking. The place is sinking. And I cannot wait for the 49ers to come in and say, see you there, and causing eruptions and rifts. Get on your bike, mate. Get on your bike. See you's there. Yeah, on your bike. We're going to run this properly. Not just a lads' party. You know? King clowns. From top to bottom, and I can't wait to see the back of them. So there you go. We move. So irrespective of the decline in the club's performance, they rate Angus. That's fair enough. But one thing 49ers Enterprise is clear about is the need for a larger senior management team at Elland Road. And I, for one, cannot wait. So how much have they paid then? What are the issues? So in the end, 49ers Enterprise and Rodgers were able to agree on a valuation of close to 170 million, which equates to around about $213. Exactly like I said, yeah. They're getting it at a cheap price. The exact figure being quoted in the US by people with knowledge of the deal who remain anonymous to protect relationships is 209 million. So $209 million, whatever. I don't know how you say that, but you can see that that's maybe a little bit less than the 170. But it is what it is. Prior to shaking hands with Radrazani, it is already on more than 44%. Let's have a look. Potentially including the cost of the transfer debacle involving Jean-Kevin Augustin means the final sum received by Radrazani will be lower again, closer to just 70 million. Okay. So Radrazani's only going to come away with around about 70 million. Okay, which again is music to my ears. I'm glad, because he allowed idiots to run the football club while he was doing what he was doing wherever he was doing it. You know what I mean? He put the wrong people in charge. I don't think he was even around the football club towards the end of it, ever. You know, and just like no wonder all these decisions were made, because it sounds like Victor was making them. Potentially including the cost. So he's going to have to shoulder the cost of Jean-Kevin Augustin. They'll have taken all that stuff off. So in the end, he's only ended up getting 70 million. He was supposed to get close to 450. Now, obviously, if you factor in the Jean-Kevin Augustin and all these other sort of stuff, maybe he'd have only got 300 and odd. But the fact that he's only getting 70, again, I'm buzzing about this, especially when you consider just a week and a half ago he was trying to leverage the football club at Ellen Road against the deal. Daniel Eger says, get yourself a nice coffee. Cheers, mate. If I could walk, I would go to Starbucks, because I could kill for a caramel macchiato right now, bro. But thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution, and Gordon and everyone. Sorry, I'm re-clicking old ones there. Thank you so much for your contribution. There we go. Yeah, exactly, Tashana. It looks like that. He's having to pay it. Serves him right for keeping faith in the keyboard salesman that long. Exactly. But look, he can't cry, because, look, the figure would still mean he walks away with a profit on the 45 million he paid Massimo Cellino. And like Phil said, it's evidently a far cry from the sum he stood to receive had Leeds retained their Premier League status. But it's his fault that we didn't keep it, isn't it? Maybe he weren't the ones making the decision, but he was the one signing the checks at the end of the day. The club's valuation has dropped significantly from the figure of close to 500 million. Discussions between them over the past week or so included talks about a minor bonus payment for Radrazani if Leeds secure promotion and certain conditions are met, but even that will not cover all the money relegation has cost him. I love it. I'm so happy about it, And again, you want me to get 2? Daniel wants me to get 2. Thank you so much, Daniel. I'll get 2, mate. I'll get 2. But that's the thing, isn't it? So there probably was, it's like a sell-on clause. Because I still believe Radrazani wanted to stay at the football club for one more year to try and get us back up. I do believe that. But again, to say he's a PR man, it went tits up, especially when we found out. Especially when we found out he tried to leverage Ellen Road against a potential deal to buy Sampdoria. He knew his time was up. It was game over. Game over. It was goodbye. So he had to go. He had to go. And even if we do get promoted, have the cash. I'm not asked. It's not my cash, but it is what it is. This was also a key thing for Leeds United fans. Is Ellen Road included? Yes. That's the best thing. Okay. We're buzzing about that. We know that the 49ers already had a part investment in Ellen Road anyway. Ellen Road Limited. It was originally bought by Radrazani's, one of his companies. I think it was called Greenfields or something like that. Another one of Radrazani's companies. He was the director of that. They changed it to Ellen Road Limited, and 49ers also had a stake in that. And there you go. So they've also said, we're taking Ellen Road. And of course, that was going to happen. That was going to happen after what he did. At least now, the guy has no grip. The guy has no hold left on this football club, So that's good. Now, another key point, 49ers Enterprises has major plans for redevelopment of the ground. Of course, they'll be delayed because we're not in the Premier League. And, of course, it had no desire to spend tens of millions of pounds upgrading an arena that was controlled by a third party, i.e. Ellen Road Limited, which was Radrazani's company. Whether Leeds continue to pay annual rent now is another matter. Now, we know Radrazani stopped that rent while we were in the Championship and then started taking money when we moved in. Hopefully, we don't have to pay rent on it. We know about that. Will he have any further involvement? Hallelujah. No, he will not. There you go. There were periods when 49ers Enterprises were open to the idea of it moving into a majority position while Radrazani retained a smaller shareholding. But as relegation drew closer and their relationship became more tense, it was adamant a full handover was needed. Yeah, too many cooks spoiling the broth. 49ers Enterprises was no longer prepared to do a deal in which Radrizzani maintained ties to Leeds or retained any meaningful authority. We know that he's trying to get Sampdoria over the line. It is what it is. Move on. Oh, I never want to see that man's face again. What are the 49ers Enterprises' immediate priorities then? Okay, the first by a clear distance is the appointment of a head coach. We know we are talking about a return date of July the 2nd, which isn't too far away now. We know that we've got our first pre-season game, I think, on the 12th. But that's 7-14... 20 days, folks. 20 days from Leeds United returning for pre-season. That is not a long time. So Leeds United need to get their skates on. We know that 49ers Enterprises tried to get Marcelo Bielsa. If you remember, I told you this and, you know, got hammered about it. I did hear some other things as well on the grapevine that basically Bielsa was willing and wanted to do basically to have conversations, but the takeover, etc., it took so long that basically he just ended up taking the Uruguay job. We said before we'd said before that sorry, I'm just reading something. I'm just seeing something about Robin Koch and Steven Gerrard. So my mind's just gone left a little bit there while I was just reading that. Yeah, so I think Bielsa would have come had this have been moved as quicker as maybe they'd have liked. That's why he was holding out. So yeah, it is what it is. They are very keen on Brendan Rodgers, but the indications are that the Northern Irishman is not tempted to work in the Championship. This is what I believed as well, but I do believe that the 49ers are still quite big on him coming in. They are still quite big on him coming in. Now, I'm told, and again, I believe it's out there, that they are meeting with him. They are meeting with Brendan Rodgers to have a conversation. As well as Daniel Farker. So we'll see. Maybe they can convince him. For me, I've just felt it a bit of a pipe dream. But if we can bring in Brendan Rodgers to the Championship with the 49ers investment, then I think we're good. I've heard the same as well, Jamie, that Angus is having a meeting with Brendan Rodgers today. Let's wait and see. That's why I don't believe the Carvajal stuff and that. I've been told it's agent talk, but I've been told it's today, but we'll see. But if you could get Brendan Rodgers, I think it'd be an unbelievable. Hector says Rodgers isn't coaching in the Championship. His egos. He's been in the Championship before, bro, with Swansea. I agree with you. I do tend to agree with you as well, but it seems like the 49ers are quite big on it. And I have to agree with what Andrew says and Jamie have said, that if you say to him, you come in, we've got a new ownership, we're going to do X, Y, Z. The facilities are also at a decent level now. Nowhere near as close to Leicester's. Leicester's spent a lot of money, but the facilities are decent after what Bielsa did to it. I've heard this as well, Sam. So that's what I mean. It's getting to crunch time, isn't it? It's getting to crunch time. He's not. The thing is, he's not going to get a Premier League job before the season starts because there's none available for him. No one's leaving. In order for him to get a Premier League job, he has to wait for someone to be sacked. So I don't think that. Philip, you're off your head. I think you're off your head. I don't agree with this as well. He just was... He was sold a bit of a door. I think when you're getting rid of Fofana, getting all these players, and then you bring in Wout Fest. They didn't do much in the transfer window. They did not replace Kasper Schmeichel. We know Daniel Ward and Everson were never really an issue. Were never really, Premier League goalkeepers. Everson did okay towards the end, but I don't think Palace is available. I'm not too sure. There's not been anything signed off on that. We know that David Moyes is now staying. I think Potter's been linked to Palace. I don't know if I don't know the deal on Palace, but I don't think Rodgers has been mentioned. Having spoken to or seen stuff from D, the Palace fan, there's been no mention of Rodgers. So we'll see. I think Rodgers would be perfect. Right. Okay. So let's go back. Other candidates on this, they've mentioned Corberán, Scott Parker, Gerrard, and Daniel Farke. Daniel Farke. Philip, I am, yeah. Maybe I've banged my head, but I think if Leeds United can bring Brendan Rodgers, that 18 months ago won an FA Cup, to a championship club, it's huge. I think if they can bring Brendan Rodgers, a team that won everything at Celtic, a manager that nearly won the league with Liverpool, did good things at Swansea as well, I believe, getting them promoted into the Premier League. I don't know how any Leeds fan can turn that down and say it's a poor decision. It's madness to think otherwise. I think the reason Leeds United fans aren't pushing it as much because they don't actually believe it viable. I think that's myself included. But from what I've heard all week on the walk and from what I'm seeing, they're massive on Rodgers. They're massive on Rodgers. So hopefully they can convince him. He'd be my number one choice, of course. Second, I would go for Daniel Farke over Corberán, and then I'd go for Corberán. Yeah, his style, philosophy, everything, man. And it all depends on how the meeting goes, because Rodgers could also go to Celtic. Rodgers could all go to Celtic, but maybe not. And it is a statement. Imagine Championship get put on notice if Leeds United within the next week say Brendan Rodgers is our new manager. The Championship will quiver. I'm telling you now. It'll be, oh my God, Leeds United have come down. This isn't the Leeds United that dropped down under the Rizdale era. This is a Leeds United that have just been taken over by 49ers Enterprises. They've just acquired Brendan Rodgers, and also probably will look to keep some of their key personnel. That's facts. So we'll see. We'll see. Look, director of football, I believe the guy Christian Perslow has just been sacked, hasn't he, from Villa? Maybe you go there. Maybe you go there. I'm not sure. Jamie says Leicester losing all the good players. Yeah, they are, aren't they? I was listening to something earlier on. They want 60 million for Maddison. They're not getting 60 million for Maddison as a championship club. I know how good he is, but there's no way that he goes. I think Luke Thomas is going as well. He's been linked with them the other way, and we know Tielemans has joined Aston Villa. So there you go. Right, okay, so let's have a look then. We know about the managers. There's been more stuff come out. We'll chat about it. As I say, it is going to be a long video, this, because it has been a couple of days, so we'll keep it locked. But what does this mean for Leeds United's summer budget? So, had Radrizzani remained in charge, Leeds were preparing to be self-sufficient during the coming transfer window, i.e. player sales, parachute payments, and then moving on that way, yeah? Radrizzani did not appear to have significant amounts of money left. We knew that anyway. And preparing for next season would have involved using player sales and parachute payments to finance businesses. I already know last summer that younger players were touted out for permanence. I know that Creswell was touted out for a permanent, and other players were touted out for permanent deals. Parachute payments in year one in the Championship are worth around about 45 million to Leeds United. Of course, 49ers Enterprises will still tap into that. Of course, we know that Meslier is going to leave. He's basically said it. We know that Rodrigo is going to leave. He's basically said it, but in a much better way. We know that clubs want Tyler Adams, so he could potentially leave. There's going to be many exits, is what we're going to say, right? So that's going to help. But it looks like the US based club are also going to be, willing to put money in to supplement that as well. Because it does say Leeds to have a more active or aggressive window than they might otherwise have had. We know that Radrazani, he'd have only spent what would have been brought in, etc. Phil does say to temper expectations. That is not to say that spending will be lavish or widely excessive. I don't think as fans we're expecting it or want it to be lavish or wildly excessive. That's the thing. We just want it to be decent. We want it to be decent because the windows under Rad have been shit, man. All we needed was a midfielder, we were told Adam Forshaw. All we needed was a left back. We played Pascal Strout there and probably ruined him. He probably needs to move now because his confidence is shot. It's all these different factors. All we needed was a number 9. We were told we don't need one. We got 2 internationals and the best coveted, young striker in the league, who ended up on loan at Sunderland, and Rodrigo and Bamford didn't play for their countries in that season. Of course, Rodrigo has now, but what I'm saying is it was brutal. It was brutal. We're not asking for us to go out and spend hundreds of millions. We just want it to be sensible. And it was sensible to buy a left back. It was sensible to buy a midfielder when we didn't have any. And it was sensible to buy a number 9 that was going to be fit. We're not asking for the world. We're just asking for us to be well run. And if something needs addressing, then address it. That's all we're asking. Yeah, exactly, mate. Let's not pretend that Strauch wasn't a decent prospect. Now I think we'd all say, okay. And maybe he needs that. I don't know. But yeah, we're not asking for it. And Phil does say, don't be surprised if the club make use of the loan market. I want them to. I want them to. That's another thing we didn't do well enough. Look at the clubs that have gone up. They've loaned from the Premier League and loaned well. Luton loaned from Leeds. Sunderland loaned from Leeds. Sheffield United loaned from City. Burnley loaned from Chelsea. And many, many others. This is what I'm saying. There are deals to be done there. So go and fucking do them. Take the goalkeeper from Liverpool, the Irish fella. Take him on loan. Get him on loan and say he will be our number 1 for 46 games this season. He will play every game provided he's fit. There you go. Yeah, Andy, I'm not rewriting history. That still wasn't good enough. The point I'm making, mate, is when you look at other clubs, right? Ben White, as good as he turned out to be, was a gamble. Jack Harrison was a gamble. What I'm saying is, if you look at, say, Villa, they went and got Tammy Abraham. Yeah? If you look at Derby, they went and got Mason Mount, who's won the Champions League, Harry Wilson and Tomori, who's now playing at AC Milan. Sheffield United went and got players like James McAtee, etc. So these 2 players that you've mentioned, yes, turned out to be great, but were gambles. They were gambles. Whereas I think when we've seen it is like they've bought ready players that are going to rip up the Championship. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. That's my thoughts anyway. But yeah, look, it's going to be active. That's all we ask for. And I think, we're going to be active. We're going to be active. And that's something that I'm happy about. That Leeds United will be active during the window. Right, I'm getting loads of news come through. There's loads to talk about. So where should we start? I just don't know where to start, really. We've caught up on the ownership. It's exciting times. I suppose let's start with Ilyan Meslier, right? Let's see what Ilyan Meslier has had to say and get your thoughts on it. So this is what Fabrizio Romano, and Leeds United fans naturally are up in arms about his comments, and he's received a lot of stick. He said, officially, this was into Get French Football News, I think. He said, officially, I still belong to Leeds United. I will have to think about what could be the best project. Chelsea, because Chelsea are interested. If it is to go and be on the bench, I'm not interested in that. If it's to be number 1, of course, you can't say I'm not interested in Chelsea. So a lot of Leeds fans naturally have said the confidence on this kid is the reason we got relegated, etc., etc., etc. Right? I can see there Rodgers is trending in the United Kingdom. Let's find out why that is in just a sec. I don't mind these comments. Like, Leeds fans are, look, Ilian Meslier, and I will reiterate what I've always said, he will go on and win things. He will be a top keeper, and I think he will be number one for France. I've said before he'll play for a top 6 side if he stays in England. Everyone will tell me otherwise now. I don't get the audacity thing. Listen, remember that Ilian Meslier could have moved to Chelsea when he was at Lorient before, when he just broke in, and he said no. He said no because he wanted to get game time. He got it at Lorient. We brought him in the Championship. He got us promoted. He was a top keeper. Now, I think we disregard him too much. Yes, he had a poor season, but is it any wonder when a kid of like 21, 22, whatever he is now, don't forget he's got the record for the most clean sheets for a player under the age of 21, beating Joe Hart that was playing in the City side. This kid was playing in a Leeds United side that leaked goals. Now, of course, he's culpable for a big percentage of the goals, but when you take about 50 shots every bloody weekend, is it any wonder? Is it any wonder? Now, if he had a better defence in front of him, we're talking a totally different level of a goalkeeper for me. Because I think his one-on-ones are great. I think one-on-one, he's exceptional. I don't buy into this fact that he's awful. I totally disregard that. But again, football is about opinions. I don't understand everyone going mad at him for saying what he said. Of course, he could have said it better, but let's be honest. Why shouldn't he have confidence? Why shouldn't he have confidence? He had confidence coming into Leeds United to be number one and get us promoted. I think yeah, exactly. Exactly, bro. This is the thing. He could do that. He could say, yeah, I'll go to Chelsea and be number 2. He doesn't want that. He could have gone from Lorient before he even came to us, and he chose to turn down Chelsea. So they clearly have a long vested interest in him. But yeah, and again, his confidence is shattered, bro. His confidence is shattered. Yeah, and is it any wonder he's regressed when is it any wonder he's regressed when we've regressed as bad as we have? Even under Bielsa, he was peppered. If you're asked, right, you know that I like to put it into some sort of context. If you're at work and you're asked to do your workload, your sound, if someone then come and said to you, right, say I want 10 times more from you in the same time frame, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. And I just feel that he was battered to a next level. And I also feel, and people won't agree with me with this, but I feel like he's become a little bit of a lightning rod for it. And I feel unfair on Meslier because I think he's done a lot for us. The fans just switched on him. He probably feels that too. He got stick for posting a picture of him being on holiday, for fuck's sake. I couldn't believe it. Is he not allowed holidays now? And I just feel with all that, he's probably thought, I can't be doing this. And I listen, like I say about Harrison will go to a decent Premier League club and people will realize, oh God, yeah, we had a top player there. It'll be the same with Meslier. Because I've said, and I'm not gonna change. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, then I will say I'm wrong. Like I did with Cree Somerville, etc. Although I don't think any of us are that. Of course, we keep him in the Championship, but I think the club would move him on. But we'll see in it. They'll still get a Rad Music Chat says disagree fully, Joe. As Connor said, I've not watched Connor's video, so I'll have to check it out. He's been awful at the 3 fundamentals. What are the 3 fundamentals? Are we goalkeeping coaches now? Is Connor a goalkeeping coach? Does he? What are the three? Please tell me what the three. I'll Google it. I don't know what the three fundamentals of golden is. I'm not a top coach, me, but I'll check. Is there only three? Let's have a look. Again, you know, I love Connor. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. He'll tell you that himself. But what are the three fundamentals of goalkeeping? What are the main functions of the goalkeeper? Intercepting or stopping the ball before it crosses the final line. That is the goal. Oh, that's just silly stuff. Please tell me what the three fundamentals of goalkeeping are, and we'll chat about them. Let me know in the chat. But anyway, right. Even if he has been poor this season, I'm not being revisionist and say that he's had a great season. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying is, he is a good goalkeeper. Do you not remember how good he was in getting us up? Do you not remember this? Do you not? I do. You know? Yeah. He has made some terrible errors, Ryan. I agree. He has not had a great season. But that does not make a poor goalkeeper. One poor season. I give you case in point, David De Gea. Now, because we're all revisionists, it seems, and we all can't remember what came before, everyone will say David De Gea is shit. Because you can only remember the last 12 months from the majority of the comments. But David De Gea has been an elite goalkeeper in the Premier League for a decade. Even this season, in a shit season, he won the Golden Glove. Right? I know goalkeeping's progressed. But what I'm saying is, when De Gea came in, he had these issues. Meslier came in. We were a good side. Yes, we conceded a lot of goals, but we were a great side to watch. This season, we've been a poor side to watch, and he's also suffered for that. He has also suffered for that. Again, Bradley, I've just said to you, let's not talk about the last 12 months. Let's talk about everything before. Again, we're being very now. So these are the full three fundamentals. Okay, but I don't know. There might be more. There might be more. It is what it is. But I'm not a goalkeeping coach. Neither's Connor, and neither are you. Three fundamentals for a good goalkeeper: confidence, bravery, shot stopping, and his confidence is effing shot. Agreed. But if we're gonna say now that if these are the three fundamentals and he's rubbish at them all, then why is he a Premier League goalkeeper? Why is he playing in the France under-21s team? And I'll say it to you now, and I'll say it before. Why will he go on to win trophies? I said it. Why will he go on to play for France as their number one? Because I believe he will. But people want to be revisionists. And I get there's an anger towards him because he's saying, yeah, of course I'll play for Chelsea, but only if I'm number one. And everyone goes, who do you think you are? But that's an elite mentality he should have. That's an elite. So Bradley, again, do your research. The reason being is because they want him to get minutes in the under-21s. Because he's only really just come onto the scene. They've said that. Deschamps and that have said that. So, and again, Gordon, this is what I'm saying. So Leeds fans will go, why are we signing these rubbish players? No one else wants them. You know, that's what they'll say. But then when the shoe's on the other foot and know that players that Chelsea want him, like it doesn't go the other way. It doesn't go the other way. Jamie, what I will say is distribution is there. Okay, it's not been great of late. That could well be more to what he's been asked to do tactically. But and also the players that he's passing to in the space that they're finding. But remember that first game against Arsenal? The kid's distribution was amazing. Amazing. So let's see. But again, look, I'm not angry at Meslier. I actually feel sorry for Meslier. That's my opinion. That is my opinion, and you come for my opinion. I'm giving you it. I think Meslier will go to the top. I think Meslier is a good keeper. He's very young. I can understand Chelsea fans being upset with that being a potential signing. Will he be their number one? No, I don't think he will. He may move to Europe, but he will do well in the game. I'm not angry about him posting pictures of him on holiday. He's allowed a life, and he's been asked a question about Chelsea, and he said, yeah, of course I'd go to Chelsea, but only if I'm number one, i.e. I've got a bit about me, and I see my career. I don't want it to stagnate. I don't want to go to a Premier League club and sit on the bench. That's all he's saying. That is all he's saying. But Leeds fans are going, the audacity of this kid. He got us relegated, etc., 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 which I get because everyone's angry. But what do you want him to say? Yeah, I'd love to go to Chelsea and sit on the bench and not play any games and get loads of money. We'd also be angry at him for doing that. Give him a break. He's a young lad. We've been shit. He's been shit. We'll say goodbye. It's panged with regret for me because I like the kid. But don't be angry at him. Don't be angry at him. He's a young lad. We move. We move, go get, as I said yesterday, go and people backed it on Twitter. The kid at Liverpool, I can't pronounce his first name, but Kelleher, he wants first team football. I don't see them letting him go permanently. I don't think Liverpool fans would want him to go permanently. But I think if we can go and get him, he's available. Or Sam Johnston. Yes. Sam Johnston would be a great shout. Currently in the England setup, Palace might switch it up though now. They might look at Sam Johnston's appearances towards the back and then want to make him number one. Remember, Guaita's normally their number one, but based on his performances, he might be their number one, and we're not going to get him. And Livakovic, who was linked to Bayern Munich's not dropping to Leeds United in the Championship. But yeah, look, this was tweeted out from Fabrizio Romano on the 19th of April. This was going to be saved for something I was going to do in terms of who Leeds United could look at, etc. But when the news came out about Meslier yesterday, I tweeted it out. Look, available on a loan deal, many clubs interested. For me, Leeds United should be throwing the name in the hat because if Liverpool do want to keep hold of him, I think it's a perfect place for him to get game time at Leeds United. And we're going to play 46 games. We're going to play 46 games. What better experience to come to a club like Leeds United and be their number one? I would be all over it. I would be all over it. Yeah, but Rad's music chat, just on this BPF, if you go back and look at the All Leeds TV days, I told everyone this guy was a whack keeper, and I used to get battered for it week in, week out because he'd come from the U setup. So maybe my knowledge on keepers, maybe stick with me as opposed to the others, because I've told you Klassen won't make it, and I've told you Robles ain't that good. I told you Robles ain't that good before. But we'll see in it. We'll see. We've seen him towards the back end of the season, but we'll move. We'll move. He's probably good enough for the Championship. I'm probably doing him a disservice. Ryan, hopefully, like I say, it all depends on where Liverpool see his minutes, doesn't it? It all depends on where Liverpool see his minutes. So we'll have to wait and see on that for sure. Shall we move on and talk about Tyler Adams? Because again, I've heard, we spoke about Meslier, looks like he's moving. Even if he don't go to Chelsea, the fact he's talking about another club, he's leaving. Yeah, he's gone, right? He's gone, right? Shall we? Yeah, I'd be all over Sanchez as well, but they wanted big money for him a couple of seasons back. Jason Steele is obviously their number one, you would imagine, unless they go get another keeper. I would be all over him. Let's talk about Tyler Adams. So, we'll go to the article because Nottingham Forest have really shown an interest in him. Just give us a second. I just want to find, because it's a Nottingham Forest piece. So I just want to find the actual... Right, okay, yeah. Let's just go and look at what they've had to say first and foremost on Tyler Adams. So this is a Nottingham Forest piece. But Forest are also among a host of clubs who have been monitoring Tyler Adams' position at Leeds following their relegation. There are other clubs who are more keen on the USA international, but it is another example of the player profile Forest will be looking at. So there is quite a few clubs interested. Now, from what I've heard, Tyler Adams isn't adverse to staying at Leeds United. Okay. Tyler Adams has been really surprised, maybe not surprised, but has really enjoyed the affection bestowed upon him by Leeds United fans. Yeah. So keep that up is what I'll say. He was also buzzing that the ground at Ellen Road East Stand, he's got the big picture. Robin Cox on the other side, he's on one side. I think we had Aileen and Pablo before. I can't remember. Rafinha maybe. My mind's terrible with stuff like that. But he's been buzzing with that. And also, apparently, it's not going to throw into doubt his position in the USA men's national team because he's the captain and all this sort of stuff. So apparently, he's not adverse to staying at the football club. You also have to throw in the fact that he's injured. Okay. Is anyone going to be willing to take him on with an injury and then trying to get him up to speed in the Premier League or wherever it may be? So I don't see, or I'm more so hopeful from what I've heard, that Tyler Adams could potentially stay. And again, it's another it'd be a big scoop for the 49ers, big coup for them to say, can you stay? And he says, yeah, I'm up for it. I'm up for staying. Brendan Rodgers comes in. It's another unique selling point to say that Tyler Adams is also willing to stay at the football club. Are you cool with that? Yeah, that'd be amazing. And the injury also throws into it the fact that we could get him. We could get him at least till January to play a part. And then if Leeds United are in an exceptional position, we're at top of the league, top two, there's a gap. He could say, do you know what? I've only got to give it 6 more months and we're back in the Premier League and I'm the captain of this football club. Because I would make him the captain. Do one old guard. I'm telling you now, I'm not about them anymore. So Tyler Adams make him captain. And you could well throw it at him and say, listen, we want you to stay. We want to build around you, etc., etc. So I think Tyler Adams could stay just yet. Another thing that came out on the 7th of June, obviously, Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo is wanted by several European clubs, and they're already keen on signing him. I think that was more so leaked from Leeds United side, personally, to Fabrizio to try and get this guy out. I think they'll want to move him on. So I'm not... Yeah, listen, Junior Firpo go. Seems a lovely guy, but for me, Junior Firpo is a rubbish left back. We had 2 months of him in the 3 years he's been here or whatever it is. So for me, goodbye Junior is what it is. Junior Firpo never got to senior Firpo, did he? He just flirted with it a little bit and then moved on. Robin Koch likely to leave this summer. Again, I'm not asked. I don't get why clubs are clamoring for him. There's an exit clause. People have been saying about there being a zero exit clause. That will never be a thing, surely not. There's been interesting teams from in the Bundesliga, Premier League and Serie A. One club's monitoring the situation is Newcastle. If Newcastle genuinely go for this guy, it's mental. He's rubbish. I genuinely don't think he's any good. We bought him for 30 million. I believe his exit clause will be bigger than that. If Leeds United can get that, happy days. Happy days. And bye-bye. Steven Gerrard apparently has agreed a deal to go out to Saudi Arabia. Maybe he'll end up managing Benzema or something. I don't know. Rodrigo Moreno, one I'm sad about. I guess the difference between Moreno and Rodrigo's comments at international duty with Meslier and why there's been no backlash. He's basically said, I live in the real world. You know, I'm very focused on the national team. I know teams want me. Apparently, Real Madrid want Rodrigo. Real Madrid want Rodrigo. Obviously, they're going to lose. Well, they have lost Benzema. I'm not saying he's going in to replace Benzema, but definitely could do a job off the bench for him potentially. He said, I have a contract with Leeds, and that has to be respected. But I think Rodrigo's going to leave and probably will return back to Spain. He's 31. It is what it is. At least Rodrigo did come to the party at some point in his time for Leeds, and it was in a season where we were rubbish, unfortunately. Had we stayed up, maybe he stays again and we push on. I think we're going to get Weston on a permanent because I believe he loves the club. Greg, come on now. What have you been smoking, son? That guy's not sticking around. Definitely not. Apparently, according to Football League World, they understand that Leeds are targeting Coventry City's Gustavo Hamer as a marquee signing. That would be a great signing. Bring me Victor Gyökeres as well. That would be another amazing signing if we could get that to happen. But I think the next thing that needs to happen for Leeds United is the manager, isn't it? We need to get the manager in ASAP. You know, Rodrigo's probably it is what it is. All these the managers next up. We know that Rocker's going to leave. He's going to go to Betis. Firpo's going to leave. Rodrigo's going to leave. Mellier's going to leave. There's loads of exit, right? I don't know when the transfer window opens. Is it the 1st of July? Let's have a look. 1 second. I feel the heat from outside. It's so warm, isn't it? I don't know when it opens, but 14th. That's when our first game is as well. There you go. So, yeah, Ryan Manning from Swansea is a big target as well, isn't he? But all this stuff, I think player outgoings and incomings wait. We need a manager. We need a manager in the door. I'm led to believe that interviews are going on. I still think there's a chance we could get Rodgers, as slim as it might be. I think it would be great if we, could get them in. The Carlos Carvajal stuff, don't believe it. So Angus Kinnear, I believe, is having conversations with maybe Rodgers, maybe Farke, and maybe Carlos Corberán. Any of them I'd be happy with. I can't lie to you. Any of them I'd be happy with. And it would probably go in this order: Rodgers, Farke, Corberán. No Gerrard. I know I was probably pissed up last week when I said maybe it could work, but no. I'm a passion merchant. I'll jump on anything where I see this light. But I think for me, Rodgers, Farke, Corberán, and we'll be cool. We'll move. Anyway, listen, we've been live for like an hour and 20 minutes. You've probably seen enough. There's probably more we could talk about. Let's save that for another day. I need to go and rest up and relax and raise my feet again. I'm going to sit in the back garden with my shades on while I do that. Thanks for your continued support. Amazing contributions on the Super Chat today, by the way. Thank you so much. Gordon and Abdul and everybody who contributed. Daniel, Greg, everybody marching on TV. Jonesy, Joe Madigan, new member. You're all there. Dave, love you all. Thank you so much. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and of course hit that notification bell, and I'll see you live, maybe not tonight, but definitely tomorrow ahead of work. So thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.